traveling. You came across a caravan, pleasantries were exchanged, and you continued south. Along the road, a small town had a sign up indicating that it was a destination to stop over at, and you guys decided to take rest there. The evening was full of festivities and activities, and in the morning, after you all rested, noise disturbed the town's peace. Upon going outside, you guys discovered your friend Sergeant Nibbles had begun making a ruckus, attempting to reach you guys. The mayor came out to see what the problem was and asked you guys to take your beast and leave. In the
Seems quite rude.
process, in the process, Connie threatened the mayor's life. And the mayor, not taking any nonsense, ordered her arrest and sent
Save
for the
my
march to deal with you guys, as this is not in his job description. And then proceeded to escort you guys out of town after Connie was imprisoned in the small constable barracks. Um, Here is the updated map. I have finished the small village. There are more trees. It takes a lot to draw trees, so don't judge me.
What did you use to make this map?
The program is called Canvas of Kings. It's like $20 on Steam. It's really not that bad of a map making program, although it is limited in the assets, like what actual things you can place. Like you could fully custom make an entire building, but the things that you can build it with are pretty limited. So anyway, um, from your guys' position when Connie was arrested and escorted, you guys would have seen she was taken to the building just north of the plaza. And Connie, once inside, you would know you were taken to the northern wing. The rest of the party does not know that.
Mm.
And then the party, you guys were escorted out of town, and the mayor stopped at the kink in the road, essentially, and turned back here. And that is where you guys basically pitched your tents in an intimidation effort.
No, that's not us being intimidating.
It's just being lazy.
It's kind of like when the mayor asks, are you threatening me? And it's if he has to ask, we're not. When
Couldn't
we
agree
decide
more.
to threaten him, there will be no doubt in his mind whatsoever about
Mhm.
what is happening.
This is very, very true.
Ugh.
But anyway, so we'll start with Connie Vision.
Honey vision.
Yes, Connie, you were escorted into a prison cell. There are high windows along the northern wall. The gate entrance is on the like southwestern side.
Yeah. Do I have a
And
window in my dorm?
yes, it is 10 feet in the air and it is less than a foot tall and
Is there a little ledge I
very
can
barred.
can I hang on the bars and look out the window?
Yes, you could pretty easily jump up there.
What am I
Is
seeing?
that what you'd like to do?
Please.
All right. Well, As soon as you get up there, one of the constables comes in and tells you to get down, but you do manage to see to the north there appears to be a hedged area, like your vision would encapsulate like this area.
Don't listen to authorities, so I'm just hanging there.
Well, he would say something behind him, and three constables would come in, unlock your cell, and pull you down.
What?
You were asked to get down.
For what? I'm just hanging out. Guys act like
The
I'm in
one that pulled
prison
you
or
down.
something.
You are. You're waiting the march.
I didn't know this
That
was.
requires you to do nothing and wait and shut your mouth and sit here.
You guys are gonna love me.
I mean.
Do we need to restrain you?
It's kind of my thing.
Oh my.
He just rolls his eyes and walks back out of the cell.
I put my wrists together and I stick them out.
They just close the door and walk away.
You can't tease me like that and walk away.
But some time passes. They ignore you. If you attempt to jump up the windows, the same thing will happen. They'll just come pull you down, yell at you, and go back to the other room.
I just start like jumping up and down, but not touching the windows, just to look out the window.
You wouldn't be able to jump high enough.
I'm at least 6 foot. You don't. You tell me I don't have a 4 foot vertical.
What's your strength score?
All right, fine. I can't see out the window.
I'm just kidding. There are actual mechanics for that, my friend.
It's not good.
All right. But yeah, about midday, they bring in a bowl with some looks like porridge in it. And again, three of them come in. Two of them standing, open the door. One goes in, gives you the thing, takes your bucket, puts a new bucket in there.
I specifically asked for elk.
They all ignore you.
I shit in the bucket right in front of them.
They just took the bucket, so you're shitting in the new one.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, well, as you're doing that, they just close the prison cell door and go back to the other area.
Dang.
But that will be about midday. For the rest of you guys, what have you been up to? Just hanging out. So
I have
Alaric,
returned.
Jack. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, I think we're just hanging out.
You guys, yeah, you guys are sitting here. I drew a circle. Admire my art. Yeah, about the morning passes. You guys don't do anything. Um, Nothing really noteworthy happens. Um,
I think I'll go hunting just to save some of the rations.
All right. And yeah, about an hour or two after the mayor had escorted you guys out here, a younger boy comes running out, and he stops about 10 feet away from your guys's, like where your space is, and he's just standing there, and he is holding out a folded letter. Looks like a piece of parchment.
Okay, I'll
And then
take it.
shouts out, "This is for you from the mayor."
Okay, I walk over and grab it.
All right. Yeah. You take it. As soon as you take it, he turns and starts heading back towards the town.
Okay, guess he doesn't want to reply. I read the letter.
All right. Yeah. The letter is pretty simple and straightforward. It is, the accused is hereby ordered to vacate Valmill immediately. Failure to comply will incur a civil harassment fine enforceable upon arrival of the march. Continued presence will result in banishment.
Is he talking about Connie or us?
It would appear the letter is indicating you guys, not Connie.
Well, that's just rude.
I wrote that up really quickly. I didn't specify the party, but it would indicate that he is talking about you guys pitching tent outside of town.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, if you guys don't do anything, the day will continue.
Mhm.
And nothing much of note happens. In the afternoon, a group of travelers on foot passes through, and they don't talk to you. They just kind of give you a funny look. There's about a dozen people, all
Yeah.
carrying packs and
Yeah. I
traveling
wave
gear and stuff
cordially
like
at
that.
them. I don't like stop them or anything. We're not enacting a blockade of the town yet.
No,
We're
they're
just
they're more so
I
looking
love
at
how
you
it
weird,
said
like,
yet.
why are you here?
Oh, if they give me that, I mean, is Nibbles nearby?
He is chewing on a rock by the carriage.
Yeah, I just sort of indicate Nibbles and just kind of shrug. If they're within talking range, I'll just be like, they asked to stay outside of town.
And they hadn't noticed the
They asked to stay outside
Chaos
of
Wyvern. And then when you indicate it, they start walking faster and completely ignore you.
Okay.
They're just no fun.
Okay. Bunch of racist fucks.
But the welcome.
That was in character.
The guards continue to ignore you. The afternoon passes, it comes into evening, and Connie, the mayor, pays you a visit.
What's up, whiny boy?
He just rolls his eyes. And then he hands you a letter through the bars. I'll need you
Say it
to
to my
add your
face.
name to this.
What's
I'll
it
need
say?
you to add your name to this.
Okay, I wrote Bob.
All right.
Does she even know how to
So-
write?
It's a
Good point. I don't know how to write.
then what shall I place for your name?
Uh, George. Georgina. Sorry.
It matters not. He scrawls on it real quick, and then he reads it and says, Georgina, you are standing accused of verbally threatening a civic officer, pending adjudication by the March at Fort Lurtel. Where you will either pay a fine of 200 gold pieces and accept banishment from Valmill for 1 year, or be transported to Fort Lurtel for processing under March authority, where further penalties may apply. Time spent awaiting judgment is excluded from sentence, the sentence being a fine of 100 gold pieces and 3 days of labor.
Sounds like you're just being a baby.
He doesn't react at all.
It's something a baby would do.
But then he turns and leaves. Well, evening is upon you guys. Do you guys do anything outside of sitting here?
Nope.
Play
All
with
right.
nibbles.
Play with the what?
Play with nibbles.
Ah. How do you play with nibbles?
Fetch.
Hmm.
Find a nice.
Well, you find a stick, and then you throw the stick. Nibbles watches the stick and then looks back up at you, and then looks over at Alar, tilts his head, and then goes back to chewing on a rock.
All right. Well, an attempt was made.
Here, watch this.
It must be
I want to
rock.
get a. I want to find a different rock, cast a light on it, and just toss that across camp and see if that gets Nipple's attention.
He sits up a little bit higher, tips the head up over the shoulder, sort of, and watches it. Looks at, the direction where the light's casting from. Then he looks at you. He looks over at Alar. Then he goes back to chewing on his rock.
Well,
That must be a great rock.
I found the fucking mayor's name. God, that was bothering me. The mayor did give you his fucking name. I just couldn't find it in my notes. I had it in a separate page for all the NPCs in town. You guys didn't really talk to anybody.
Connie did.
Well, that's true. All right. But yeah, if you guys don't do anything else, night comes. Do you guys set a watch?
Yeah, we'll just go and chat over.
All right. All right. Night passes. Nothing really of note. Connie, there's a shift change just before dark, and then there's another one early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm just kind of being obnoxious as possible.
They have no care. They're completely ignoring you.
Psychological warfare, baby.
Seems they are immune to psychic damage.
You know I'm a spellcaster, right?
And how do you channel your spells?
I don't know.
Anything that requires, I believe it's just anything that requires component. They need their focus, right?
Material
Verbal and
components.
semantic, they can. So verbal and semantic, they can still cast.
Yes,
They don't need a focus for
Yeah.
that.
correct.
Yeah. So Connie, anything on your spell sheet that does not have a M, it's just a V or an S or a combination of the two, you can cast.
No, I'll be a good boy and not light everyone on fire.
Please
Fireball's got a
do.
material component.
You guys are no fun.
The firebolt doesn't.
I just want to burn it all down. That mayor's
Yes,
being a
the
big fat pussy.
the stone structure with metal bars.
Do you know heat metal?
I do actually know heat metal. Wait, no, maybe I don't. I know one of my characters did know heat metal. Let's see. It is not this character. Never mind. But I do know Thunder Wave and inflict wounds. God. If only. I'm being a good boy. I'm shutting up and serving out my sentence.
Oh, the sentence haven't even begun yet.
I've been here for a day now. It has begun.
No. You are thinking of modern law where time served is included. You are awaiting judgment.
I want my lawyer.
That was indicated on the letter that he presented to you.
My lawyer is the person eating horse.
Huh?
Yeah, the thing that has been terrorizing the citizens.
People eating horse?
I don't think it's a people eating horse, but you know what I mean.
The
Nibbles.
wyvern? Wyvern. It's a wyvern.
Okay, well, that's my lawyer.
Okay. All right. Morning, day 2. Connie, nothing happens for you. Party. The mayor and 2 constables come back to where you guys have set up camp.
Okay. I wave amiably at them. Morton.
He stops about 30 feet from where you guys are, and is just standing there with his arms crossed. The constables are behind him by about 3 feet to either side.
Okay.
Jack looks up. Drink. Offers him a drink.
He doesn't flinch.
I would hope not.
You
He's
can't trust a
being
man that
offered a
don't
drink.
drink.
Not,
Or
he's being offered a drink, not being attacked.
Yeah, this guy's a big bitch. This is like the true definition of a politician.
You think? He's a
That's why I
mayor of a
wanna-
small charter
That's
town.
why. That is why I want to kill him so bad. I want to murder this guy so hard in the face, it's not even funny.
All right. But yeah, if nobody approaches him after some time, he will walk another 15 feet or so that he's within talking distance, and he'll just address you. You and your company have ignored 2 lawful orders to leave Valmill. Should you remain, once the march arrives, they will enforce fines and banishment. Connie will be transported Georgina will be transported to Fort Lurtle for her final processing.
Are we not outside of town?
I mean, we're outside of town. What more do you want? This is
Is-
open land.
Is this not where you previously indicated the town border
We-
ends?
I assumed you would responsibly continue down the road. The charter for Valmill extends 15 miles in all directions from the center. If you wish me to escort you to the border, I can.
actually, I'd prefer to know where you plan on taking our party member.
Once the march arrives, they can either pay the fine or pay the fine and be taken to Lord Lurtle for sentencing. He looks very
So-
exhausted.
I'm wearing him down.
So we can just pay the fine. Why wait for the march?
Yeah. Why do we have to go through all of this? We could just pay the
No,
fine.
don't pay the
get
fine.
our
I have
friend
a
and
plan.
be out of here.
The march handles all of legal precedent outside of simple matters.
This
This
is
guy
a
really
simple
is
matter.
a big bitch.
Elor just sounded completely confused. Like, one, there's been no lawful order to leave town a second time because we did. You never. I explicitly asked where the border was, and you indicated here. And if the actual border is
No,
different,
he didn't indicate anywhere. He ignored your request. Like he ignored you when you asked that. He didn't
Yes.
say yes.
That's nice, but that's what I took it as, and therefore his mistake. He indicated it by
Right.
walking away. He had a chance to correct me. He chose not to. Therefore, he assented to our position by inaction.
Get him, man,
Regardless.
under.
Regardless, that's not the issue. My contention is this is a simple matter. You wish a fine paid. That's fair enough. He shouldn't have said that. You want to wait for the march. I don't feel that's necessary. You want him gone. You want us gone. Let me pay the fine, and we leave. There needs to be no complication.
This guy's a fucking idiot.
Ayler's continues. He's like, you're the one taking a simple issue and escalating and complicating it. This could have been solved the day of. I do not understand your position.
Threatening the peace is one thing. That was the simple matter, you and your beast to leave. Threatening the life of myself was the issue that involve the march.
But threatening your life is resolved with a simple fine, yes? Ultimately. Like,
Yes, by the march.
and I'm contending that if there's no imprisonment, if there's no
I do not
further
have the
punishment,
legal authority to release her until the march arrives. It is
I know I'm
their
not there, but
jurisdiction.
he's the fucking mayor and he doesn't have legal authority.
you're not
It's a
there.
charter town.
Ah,
It's a charter town. They handle drunks, brawls, simple things like that. If anything greater than that happens, the march is involved because the march is essentially like think like state versus
So
county.
when will the march get here?
No, that's not the question. So let him finish his statement.
It was.
So you don't have authority for someone threatening your life to release him.
No. That is not something that is taken lightly, as it defeats the charters set forth by the Republic. That's why the march is coming.
Does it require the threat to actually be a threat and not drunken, nonsense being spouted, which I would consider more disturbing of the peace? Is does it require a
Drunken
mental
nonsense
state?
or not? No. That's not really a like out of character conversation. That's not really a precedent of the like setting. Like mental state isn't a something that's brought up.
So because the woman threatened
You can't
him,
use
he
the
didn't have
argument of
much
insanity,
up.
essentially.
That's
You
not the
can't
argument
use
I'm
the
making.
argument
I'm
of,
making
oh, well,
the
he was
argument of
drunk.
mens rea.
Yeah.
He didn't actually intend any real threat. Therefore, there was no threat, and therefore he was just spouting stupid crap and was disturbing the peace.
I
correct.
understand where you're coming from, but the mayor isn't. Like he's like
A
where he's
pussy?
standing. He's standing on the point that
Let me.
it doesn't matter what you say for an argument. The fact remains, Connie threatened to, end his life by saying if you weren't alive, it wouldn't matter. Or I don't remember exactly what Connie said, but it was clearly a threat of life.
So now I can't even remember what I said, but I'm in jail for it.
Jake,
I mean,
don't even.
Sorry.
talk about the touchy subject. So if Jack told him he was going to tear his arms off and beat him to death with them, would they throw Jack in jail too?
Are you saying that in character?
Come hang out with me.
Yes. Jack looks at him and
Okay.
says, so Jack looks at you and says, if Jack says he was going to tear your arms off and beat you to death with them,
Yeah,
would
see,
Jack
no,
go
okay.
to jail?
You're providing an example. If you say that, like how you just worded it, so if I said,
Right.
the
so
mayor
that's
said,
what-
if you said it without preamble, yes.
well, that's just stupid. How do you settle anything in this town? Somebody gets drunk, I'm gonna kill you. They go to jail. That's just stupid.
Hang on, Jay. Jay, this is a town with its own bureaucracy and the type of areas.
Yeah, but they're stupid.
Yes.
It's not
Well-
so much like you're thinking a drunken brawl, somebody threatening somebody is different than threatening the mayor. That's the focal point. It's not just anybody gets their life threatened and they're thrown in jail.
Yes, but
It's the fact that Connie was addressing the mayor when she said that.
but
That's
the
the
intent
issue.
behind it was the same, is what Jack is saying. The intent behind it, it had about as much threat as two drunkards pushing each other, going, I'm gonna kill you. It had about the same amount of threat behind it.
Yeah, but the law don't care here.
Yes, the law does not care, Jack.
Why it's stupid.
That's the
Well,
you're just beginning to realize that.
well, Alar would ask Mayor, just a quick question. We've been, camped on the road because we thought this was the end of your jurisdiction, per your request. We haven't seen any messengers go by leaving town. At least you haven't narrated any ruffles.
Initially, when Connie threatened, he immediately sent for a courier, and somebody left on horse
Okay.
in that session.
That's what I was asking about. I was like,
Yeah.
so how did you
Yeah.
send for the march? Like, how long are we waiting for the march? If they haven't even actually sent someone because they're afraid we're gonna kill them
Yeah.
on the road or something.
No, somebody was dispatched almost immediately, as soon as Connie was placed under arrest. But if you do ask how long, the mayor would say, well, Fort Lortel is a day's ride. I'm sure the march will be quick in their dispatch. I don't know what they intend on bringing, but they were informed that there was a band of mercenaries with a wild beast of magic kin. So I do not believe they will come lightly. However, the matter remains. You were asked to leave. Apologies for the confusion of the reach of the charter, but you are still within visual range of Velmil. How do you believe that this is the outskirts simply because you said, so this is where it ends? I did not see a reason to merit a response to such a stupid and ludicrous question.
You introduce yourself as the mayor, the merger of this urban center, which very clearly has petered out at this point. It is very obvious, I think, to you that we are not from these lands. We are not aware of your legal traditions, and therefore had no idea that such a charter even existed. You introduced yourself as a mayor, and so therefore when we were outside of town, I asked to clarify that we were in fact outside of town. You simply walked away in disgust. Why you think that is such an appropriate response to a visitor asking a clarifying question as to the limits of your own authority when you have asked us to leave said authority is beyond my comprehension.
And also, all the village buildings are over there, and we're over here, thus making this the outskirts. In colloquial language. Thank you very much.
In addition to asking you to leave, you were told to continue on your journey, and your associate would join you.
As mayor, I don't believe you have
Stopping
an
outside of
authority
town.
to do that. You are mayor of a town, not a lord, a baron, a king, or an emperor. What authority you possess over lands outside of said town is nebulous at best by the nature of said title. Again, you had
And
an
yet,
opportunity to clarify.
here you stand.
Refused.
Simply because I assumed you would continue on your journey and not put up such a fuss.
You take one of our party members hostage under dubious circumstances, and you expect us to not make a fuss. Sir, I look at the two constables that I assume came with him. When was the last time anybody has taken a good look at your head? How old does this man look?
Let's see, Mayor.
Like, is he middle-aged, elderly?
He's in his late 40s, early 50s.
Okay. So starting to go gray.
Pot-bellied.
Yeah. As I kind of look at it, I said, because this seems to me that if you wish to act as a way station for travelers, this type of senility would be counterproductive to it.
Well, most visitors don't bring anything like that. And he points at the wyvern.
He's
That's
friendly.
A rock.
As I recall, he did nothing. You disturbed the peace by summoning
He
arms
tried to
and
enter my
missiles.
town.
There's nothing posted to say he can't. Why would a village that has been obviously set up to welcome visitors and travelers by default, you would expect it to accept all such travelers in any form. Yet you have a creature that
Yes,
has
and
done
if
nothing.
the creature had came in association with you, it would not have been as much of an issue. However, the creature tried to enter upon its own, and you took claiming to it. That is when I decided to ask you guys to leave, and then your associate threatened my life.
You know, I can start to see why.
It didn't
she did
enter
that.
with you. How would I know it belonged to you?
I
I have
suppose
never
it's,
seen a creature like this before.
and yet you assumed hostility. That is my point. You assumed hostility of an unknown.
Yes,
It made no
that
hostile
thing looks
actions
like
to
it could
you, as
eat an
far as I know.
entire horse on its own.
But
It's
is
not
that
a
an
matter of
example
whether
even
it
a-
acted hostilely or not.
So we're to be judged based on
It is the
merely our
foreign nature of the
capabilities?
creature. You know. You seem like a respectable and upstanding individual.
You're a bad
He
liar.
kind of tilts his head a little when he says that. Then he kind of
Politicians
gestures with his
lie,
hand
Alars
towards the.
ignores it.
He gestures towards the Chaos Wyvern, and he's like, that ran down the main road incredibly fast, and then started darting around between buildings. The constables
Wait, I
attempted
didn't
to
see.
corral it and escort it back out of town.
It was playing hide
That
and
is when
seek.
most of the people in the town came outside and the peace was disturbed. Once you took
That's what
ownership
they
of the
freaked
creature,
out. It's
I
harming
asked
us.
you
They
to
wouldn't
leave with
realize
it.
it. We
Then
did
your
leave.
friend threatened the life of the mayor, myself,
Oh,
and
we
that's when
didn't
they were
threaten.
arrested.
Oh, she didn't threaten you. She's a bitch running her mouth.
All of this could have been avoided if you had simply left with the creature, and yet here you
I mean, if you
remain
didn't
after
have such
being
a
asked to leave again.
snob up your ass, we could work this out now. If you wasn't such an uptight, you know.
To whom do
You
you
could
owe
just
fealty?
lean over a bit and pull that snob out of your ass. We could work out something. We could give you a bag of gold, get our friend back, and we'll be gone. And nobody be the wiser.
He just rubs his temples, then addresses Alar. My charter is with the Republic's council.
Seen a politician you couldn't bribe. Damn.
And does this Republic's Council have representation other than yourself here in town?
The Council of the Republic is a 16-member council in Ghent. They control the Republic of Wedlamar in terms of outside of the city of Ghent. The city of Ghent is ran by the Merchant Council, so it's think of like a city-state inside of a nation, but it's still the capital. It's because Ghent is so big, they have separate logistics. The Republic, or the Council of the Republic, is in charge of border disputes, banditry control, trade routes, etc. And also in charge of setting down charters. The charters themselves are governed by whoever's in charge of it, whether it's a mayor or whatever they want to use for the leadership of the charter. Some charters have councils, others have just a sheriff. This one in particular has a mayor. He is in charge of the peacekeeping in the town and making sure the town makes the Republic money, i.e. tax and stuff. The March is called in as basically like marshals. They're called in at something bigger than what the town's constables can handle. And this is such an event.
Really?
And what would Alar know as to
Still
the
being ignored.
bureaucratic process? Like, Such a setup would require a bureaucratic state. You know, I doubt the council is in and of themselves supervising each individual county that they've chartered.
No. So the march itself has what's called adjudicators, and they're basically the arm of the republic. So they handle any matters and stuff like that. So likely with the group of march soldiers that are coming, there will be an adjudicator. He's basically like a mobile judge. He handles all matters in revolving around law, although he is technically like just a high-ranking military member. So he's in charge of either a group within his jurisdiction or the overseer of the entire jurisdiction. And the jurisdictions are usually tied to the roads, like a certain range on the roads.
Yeah. Doesn't answer my question, though.
The adjudicator would be the bureaucratic process, so to speak.
So if a mayor exceeds his
I guess I misunderstand your
authority,
question then.
okay. Let me then ask it as a hypothetical. Should a mayor exceed his mandate and by an excessive amount, who steps in?
The march.
Okay.
So if
So
you're
the
basically
town
you're
basically
asking if
goes
you
under
wanted to
martial law.
challenge the mayor,
No,
you
no,
could
I'm
do that with
asking who's his boss.
yeah. Technically the council. The charter is set down with the council, and then they basically run themselves and pay taxes. The mayor is the ultimate authority in the town. If he exceeds what's set down in the charter, which he is currently not doing with this situation, then the march would be notified, and yes, the town would basically go into lockdown. And the march would come sorted out, appoint a new representative for the charter, and go from there.
How about some really good booze? I've got some really good booze. Jack will give you. Jack's got some.
As he ignores
really
your bribes.
good booze. I mean, I've got some stuff that'll put hair on your chest. I can't keep Connie out of it.
I'll 1v1 the mayor.
Does that make sense, Sandra?
I mean, it's a way of doing things. I wouldn't say it makes sense, but it is a way of doing things. It could happen, sure.
Basically, towns like this
Alright.
are completely independent, and they just pay a flat tax based on whatever is written in the
Just let me
charter.
serve my sentence.
Like they
and
just
let's get
pay an
the fuck
annual
outta here.
fee
This
for this
guy's an
land,
idiot.
essentially.
Yeah, that's the way my world works too. The villages aren't owned by the villagers; they're owned by the lord of the land.
He's a big little
Well,
pussy idiot.
in this case, no, the village is pretty much owned by the villagers. The mayor is the ultimate authority, and then they have permission for ownership of this land by paying for the charter. Essentially, that's the tax. They pay a couple thousand gold a year, and this village, if you guys had poked around and asked any questions, is primarily a fishing area. Like there are 3 large, nice lakes, but you guys went to the inn, and then this happened. But anyway,
So,
basically, he is reiterating he had asked you to leave, and you guys didn't. Then he clarified that your question seemed quaint as to the end of his jurisdiction, as it wasn't relevant to the question of you guys continuing on your way and leaving the town.
So AR pulls out a map of the area, right?
Mhm.
You know, and so he starts like, all right, so you say so that you want us to leave, and he starts like, all right, so here's some roads, where exactly is it you're asking us to leave? Let's just be very clear about that, so we can avoid, because he kind of indicates the two of us,
Down the road.
more misunderstandings here, right? We're very obviously not from around here, so let's clarify where the borders are.
15 miles down the road.
Is his miles the same
Yeah,
as my
it's
miles?
15 miles down the road. Like that's what he would indicate.
Okay.
Yes. All miles are the same. Everybody speaks common. Gold is gold. There is no. I didn't have the time to do that kind of bullshit world building.
Yeah, I mean, AOR at this point is being kind of an
The
ass
only
about it,
the
right?
only bullshit world building around that is the fractured error, and that's calendar shit.
Okay.
So I can
And
ad lib all day
Where
about
are
calendars
the
being
where are the
fucking lucky.
lakes?
But
Like,
yeah.
I don't ask him this. I'm looking like on the map. Like, so where are the lakes that they get the primary means of his tax payments from?
Well, within the reach of 15 miles from the center of town.
Yeah, but out of line of sight from the looks of the map you posted.
They're all nearby the town.
Nearby, out of sight, or
Yes.
nearby?
One of them is directly north of the town by about a mile. This is about a 300 or 400 acre lake. Another one is a mile or two to the east, further away from the road. And that one is, I don't know, it's about 3 miles long, so 700 or 800 acres. And then the other one is to the south, and it's much smaller. And it's about 4 or 5 miles from the town. There are other smaller ones, but those are the three big primary ones that they do, have boats and stuff on for fishing. But in terms of, are the lakes out of the line of sight of the town? Yes.
Good to know. And what time of year is it? Sorry, I think I cut off. What time of year is it?
It is coming up on, like, if we divided the years in quarters, it would be the end of
Asking
the middle quarter,
seasons.
which
Seasonally.
is actually like the transition between fall and winter.
Okay.
Between fall and winter.
Okay.
It's like mid-fall, and temperatures dropping a little bit, but my world is larger, so it's a little bit more temperature stable. So they don't get like Midwestern winters, despite being technically at the same percentage from the equator.
Okay. Good to know. Do
But yeah,
I
essentially
know
he would
where this
indicate,
fort is
15
that they've
miles down the
indicated?
road.
Is that common knowledge?
He would tell you it's a day's ride south on the main road. Yes.
Okay.
Like, it would not be hard, and he would happily tell you where the fort is.
Right.
It's about a day's ride south, so
Yeah,
about 30, 40 miles south.
Yeah. Yeah, ALR doing all this, like, kind of giving the indication of, all right, let's do this in the law. So where do we go? Who do we talk to? That type of thing, right? Like, we're trying to comply. You're just bad at telling us how to do it. He never says that. That's just the implication he keeps making. Aylar keeps after all of this, Aylar just keeps speaking to him like he's a hillbilly yokel type thing. Like okay, fine, you have your laws, that's cute. Let's resolve it. Now answer my fucking questions. Stop walking away and discuss when I ask procedural questions about things like where is the limits of town when you ask us to leave town. That's the implication he keeps giving. Anyway, so we find out where the fort is. Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess we start breaking down camp. We'll start heading along the single road that appears to go into this village towards the single fort that defends it.
I'm having some connection issues. Hang on.
Okay.
I keep seeing the Discord voice
Sounds like
flash in and
so is
out.
your mayor.
Did anybody else have problems hearing me? I mean, it might be my end.
Was he chopping for anybody?
I
Yeah.
heard you.
Yeah. No, I remember my internet went down today,
No.
so it might be me.
I've been
Can you guys hear
posting
me
what
okay?
I was.
Guys,
Alright.
while
And
he's gone, this guy's a bitch.
No,
oh yeah,
it's,
yeah. That's
it's me.
okay.
1 second. I'll be back in like 5-10. Restart my
I
modem
have
and
put
router and stuff
my-
because I have
I
not
have
restarted
put
it since
my
I came back
opinion
online.
in.
Yeah,
we're
but
aware of
it's
that.
coming up on winter,
I-
Jack.
I- Burn them all.
No.
Salt the fields.
The people of the town were nice. There was no reason to fuck over everybody, right? You just want to fuck over the mayor.
Okay.
We do it
I'm
legally.
cool with just keeping my mouth shut and getting over this because this guy's just a big fat bitch.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about getting revenge, but in a way that doesn't directly
Oh,
lead to legal
goody! I
consequences.
love revenge.
So we have a whole bunch of these.
Can we murder him outside city limits?
No, because that's still murder.
Ah,
But if we were to say swing towards the lakes and plant a few of these sap-infused heartwoods that tend to lead to those, trolls all around their income-producing areas, that seems like it might cause a small issue for him.
ooh.
They have the winter, so which means that there's going to be nobody out there looking while these things grow and multiply.
Oh God.
Oh,
That
they
is
would.
awesome. I like it.
And remember, he needs a bunch of fearsome mercenaries to come bail him out. And who do you think he knows in that line of work?
A lot more than you guys.
Oh, you're still in here. Leave so we can plan behind your back.
I got a phone, bitch.
Hey,
I don't want the
That's
DM
real.
know. The DM needs to know because otherwise he might not have planned for this.
I love where your
Well,
head's
that's the
at,
whole-
though. I love.
Like we will engage in
That's where
long-term
that's the point. It's not
economic
supposed to play
disruption
into
of the entire fucking area. Oops, we accidentally some
Or
monsters
we could
right
also
next to
dam
your
up the
fishing
lakes.
lakes. Well, that probably happens naturally. They probably have woodsmen that go throughout in the spring to check for that. It would be really hard to permanently dam it in a way they couldn't undo, that we could manage in the field.
True, but they still have to send out people to do that. That's going to take time.
What I'm
we
saying
might
is I
make-
don't yet have Wall of Stone to construct permanent dams across their waterways.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Nor, as far as I know, do we have
And
significant...
no idea is more mute. I'm on board for this.
Yeah, I like putting monsters in here, right? Like he's so bad at his job that monsters have fucking invaded.
Yeah.
Even the monsters know this guy's a bitch.
I mean, the other option would be to somehow figure out a way to assuming that the lakes are fed from streams and rivers and not an aquifer. We could play some fuckery stuff with salt.
I really don't want to harm the environment per se. That's why lightning's all right, but like salt. Because I was thinking that, change the salt
Salt
content
the
of
earth
the
and
pH.
kills them all.
Jack, we're not here to kill them all. We're here to dick over that guy.
Right, and since he's worried about paying his taxes to his higher authority, we want to fuck him over monetarily. Increasing his costs significantly by requiring him to constantly have to fight monsters is a great way to do that, without fucking over everybody in town. Because the problem with salting the water supply is that these people probably depend upon those lakes also for their fresh water for drinking, cooking, bathing, that type of thing. So we'd essentially be destroying the viability of the town which is not really what I think is appropriate response for jailing one of our party members for running her mouth.
No, what we need to do is catch the mayor and give him an ass whooping. We wait till he's asleep at night. We sneak into his
I
house and we give him
Love that idea.
a blanket party and whiz ass.
Just
Then we leave, and the next day he knows
Just-
the next time he's a bitch, somebody sneaks into his room and whoop his ass.
let
No,
me
'cause
give him
again,
a
I mean,
really
Oswald and my
I'm sorry
ability-
shoulder rub with inflict wounds. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Leave
Let
an
me
ass
let me
whooping.
give you a
We're
massage.
all
and then
terrible
murder.
at doing trouble and not getting caught.
So
I mean,
we're
okay,
only level 6,
then-
Jack. We don't quite have the ability to take on an entire republic alone yet.
It's just a little city.
Because he's exactly the type of person who's just going to call in the military if we do that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He is exactly that kind of person who will just call in the military
So
on
scared
our
of
ass.
And again,
Wouldn't
the
it-
whole
100
idea is
units.
No, the whole idea right now is to
What
give
did it
every
say?
Yeah,
impression
but
that
how
we're going to
exactly-
comply with his legal shenanigans. And remember, there's only one road in and out. The march will have to pass us by, both directions.
But Claymore's on the side of the road.
Now, obviously, we can't just kill
Yeah,
them,
we
take
can't
their
kill them all.
jackets, and walk into town again with nipples on our side and be like, "Yeah, we're totally the march." We have to assume that the mayor, while he's
I mean,
while he's a
no,
cowardly,
must
sniveling
have
bureaucrat,
nipples
is
on
not a
that.
moron.
But we probably could talk the marshals into the fine and come back with them to.
We could at least talk to the adjudicator and find out, that really we're just trying to be on our way peaceably. Yeah, there were some drunken things said that
Yeah.
shouldn't have been said. We acknowledge that we're willing to pay the fine. We're just trying to be on our way, and we keep getting held up because people won't release our people.
Yeah, we're
and
willing to
we're
pay,
totally willing to
yeah.
go to the town and talk all this out again with the mayor. You can escort us in so that there's no assumption of any threat. We're not trying to threaten the town yet. I'll leave off the yet when we're talking to them, obviously. But if we can at least
But yeah, I
talk to
can
the
get behind that,
adjudicator
man.
before he gets
I
into
can-
town, we get the early chance to set the narrative. Remember, the mayor sent for him because of a disturbance, and there was a threat against his life. This probably isn't the only time he's ever done this for some adventurers wandering through town that got drunk and said something they shouldn't have. I doubt it's the first time this has happened. And generally speaking, these types of bureaucrats want things done quickly, efficiently, and close enough to by the book that they can feel good about it when they go to bed at night. Us offering to just be like, we're willing to just admit guilt, we'll pay the fine, can we go? Might very well tick all those boxes and gets us out from having to spend another week going back and forth to this fucking fort.
All right, I think that's the best I'm gonna get. You were pretty clear for all of the only disrupt. I only lost your comms once. It seems like my outbound is fine. It's my inbound that's the issue.
Okay. Anyway, so unless the party really wants to stay here and antagonize the mayor more, once he's given me all the information, I simply nod and we begin breaking down our camp. Jack probably grumbling the whole time about how he doesn't want to do it this way, but once we're out of earshot of the mayor, so he doesn't hear us doing this, I'll explain everything I just said.
Oh,
to
as
Jack
soon as you indicate that you're leaving, the mayor and the two constables turn around. Like before you even start breaking down your tent. Like he doesn't stick around to see if you follow through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to. We're after I get the clarification on my map of like, all right, so here's where we absolutely have to go to. Here's the fort, so we can actually talk with the people in authority. Great. That's where we're going. And we start breaking down camp. Yeah.
Yeah. That was morning of day 2. So yeah, you guys break down your tents, camp, and get on your horses and get on your way.
Mhm.
And you head back to the main road, start heading south, and about midday, you see dust on the horizon ahead of you.
Okay, I mean it's a road, so it just means someone's coming towards us. Continue at our normal pace.
Yes, and as you get closer, as you get closer, you see it looks like 26 riders. 25 of them are in blue and gold with a white stripe. All of them wielding halberds, and then the one at the front has a little bit fancier looking armor, and alongside of him is a familiar looking horseman that you'd seen leave town earlier. And he points at you. And then the adjudicator shouts something behind him. You can't hear at this distance. And then the ranks break, and they start forming abreast on the road
Okay.
from one end to the other across the road.
Okay. Are they leveling the lances, or are they just kind of forming a wall to indicate that they want us to stop? That is, are they preparing to
It
attack,
doesn't
or
look
are
like
they
they're
looking to
advanced.
stop us?
It looks like the front rank has their halberds at half cocked. They're not all the way leveled, and then the rank behind them has their halberds up. The
Okay.
adjudicator and the courier, it looks like he went behind them, and the adjudicator looks like he is coming towards you guys.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just stop. I mean, we want to talk to them anyway, so I'll stop.
Yep.
Is Nibbles still with us? Is he been
yes,
hanging out in the
if
carriage
you guys
with me?
were yep, he is in the carriage.
Okay.
He is dog out the window.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll walk out of the carriage. Presumably Nibbles is kind of coming next to me, kind of like a particularly large but friendly hound. And I'll kind of walk to the front of
Do
our
you
trail.
do you coax or talk to or indicate anything to Nibbles, or do you just get out?
I kind of like, I kind of just talk to Nibbles, it's enough so that everyone probably hears around me, but I don't yell it for the other side here. Is oh, Nibbles, well, we should probably see what he's got going, and just stay calm. I doubt anything hostile is going to happen. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? and yeah, I just walk out.
If you talk to him at all, he'll come with you. Yeah, he'll come with you. If you if you don't indicate or talk to him at all, he would have just hung out in the carriage and
No, I want him out there. I want them to see this. I want the adjudicator and the march, I think is what you said it was, to see this. So yeah, I walk towards the front of our traveling line and take a few steps forward and just wait. See what they want to do. But very clearly I am not someone I'm not attacking them. I'm just kind of coming forward to talk.
Coaches.
He must be the adjudicator that the mayor sent for.
Yeah, a little bit ahead of the party.
Whoa, he's had a bit of a overlap there. What's
did I desync?
Yeah, you desynced.
Yeah, I said that you basically just move ahead of the party and kind of stand there and wait for him to approach.
Yeah, it's like an obvious, oh, okay, you want to talk, I am here to talk, but I'm not going to come charging towards you when you've got a lance line ready to run me down. I'm not that dumb.
Yep. Yeah, they had stopped on the road about 100, 120 feet from you guys, and that's when they split ranks and basically blockaded the road. Ironically enough, there is plenty of it's smooth, grassy terrain around the roads. You could have easily just driven the carriage around them, but you guys stopped. So
yeah, we stopped. They obviously, we want to talk to them. They obviously want to talk to us. I think there's just a bit of an assumption they're making that we're more hostile than we are. So yeah, I'll walk to the front of our line, just kind of wait there. You know, if they put up their halberds, I will start approaching. Like if they're obviously calming down, but I'm not going to start walking towards them when his guys look ready to start charging.
Yeah, they don't look so much like they're ready to start charging. They just look like basically whole formation. Have their half level down. They're the rear rank. They're straight up and down. The other rank, they're at like a 45-degree angle out in front of them.
Yeah, which is one command away from charging.
Yes, it is.
I understand the implication. That's why I'm holding my position.
Yeah, it's all right. They're all within fireball range. It's all good.
Specifically, their horses are within fireball range. Anyway, so the adjudicator approaches alone.
It's all good.
Yes, he is by himself. The courier, after you could see, whoever was riding next to him, you kind of recognize the horse and the rider from the town
Okay.
that had left the day before, pointing at you guys. And then the adjudicator, shouted out a command. They spread across the road. Courier went behind the ranks, and the adjudicator is alone, approaching you guys on horseback.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it looks like he's he's on horseback, I'll just, wait
Yes.
for him to come then. And when he gets within reasonable talking range, I'll just call out that, you must be the adjudicator that the mayor sent for. Does he not respond when I say that?
Nope. 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
His response is loaded.
I'm thinking of how to handle it for like how the adjudicator's personality is. And what's the fucking mayor's name? Burston.
Bitch boy.
Burston. Yeah, he rides up to you, Alar, and he says, "I am adjudicator Relin Voss. I believe, based on Courier indicating that you are the travelers in question, have been reported to me by Valmer's mayor, Bernston. I'll need to speak with the mayor regarding the issues first, but you are welcome to accompany to the town under guard until this is resolved."
Well, that neatly sidesteps the good portion of the conversation, as yes, one of our members has been arrested, and we'd like to see it dealt with appropriately. We'd be happy to accompany you with your men acting as guard. The mayor has asked us to leave, hence why we're on the road now. So we were going to the fort, but if you're willing to allow us to accompany you back to the town, we shall do so.
He just nods, and you can turn your carriage around and we'll form ahead and behind you as to prevent any issues. I do ask that you keep the beast under control. If any hostile intent is indicated, my men will have no issue dispatching it.
I have no doubt of that. Your men seem capable enough. Just bear in mind that he is somewhat only partially tame. He's somewhat like a hound in that aspect. So, same level of forbearance that you would give said hound. If he yips or happens to dodge out because he sees a rabbit or something, give us a chance to calm him down. Don't just immediately assume hostility because he moves suddenly. I know that Nibbles is a little exotic for these parts, but he has no ill will towards any of you, nor do we.
I will clarify, hostile intent means harm first. If your moves erratically, we would not consider that hostile.
Excellent. You
Basically
understand.
saying he would not give an order unless it attacked somebody.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. AR nod says, excellent. We understand that. Appreciate your reasonableness in this. Say again.
He seems a lot more reasonable than the fucking politician.
Yeah, and he doesn't work for the ATF, so we're good.
Yeah. No, this is like U.S. Marshals, not ATF. All right. Yeah. So we turn around. I basically just ask him to specify.
The ruckus, and these are the big guns.
Yeah, they're the big guns escorting the bigger guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I let him specify, how he wants his guys arrayed around us. We turn around and start.
He just told you to turn the carriage around. Yeah, as soon as you.
Well, he said he wants his guys in front and behind,
around,
so I let him specify to us. All right, let these guys go past and then follow us, type deal, and then those guys will be following you.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So there are 24 of them. 8 remain behind you. The rest go ahead of you. So there are 16 ahead of you and 8 behind you. They form up quickly into columns of 2. And as you guys begin moving, they begin moving.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, we just head back to town. Mayor's gonna love this.
Yep. And another half a day back. Here we go. But yeah, so you guys get back. The adjudicator is at the front of the column, and he, almost where you guys had made camp, but probably about another 100 feet more west towards the main road, away from town. He stops and he basically turns around and he rides back down the column, gets alongside the carriage, because I'm assuming you're inside the carriage.
I am.
Comm check? Okay.
Yes.
Is there a delay?
Yes, there seems to be some type of delay.
Okay.
Maybe 1 or 2 second delay.
Yeah, I think my internet's having some ping issues, so I will wait in between just a little bit more. But yeah, he rides up and he says, "If you would so kindly join me. It seems you are the voice of this company."
Certainly. And I'll just have Nibbles I'll pull out one of the large because it is getting late in the evening. You said I'll pull out one of the large scales, kind of set that on the bottom of the carriage, and I don't care if the adjudicator sees all this. By the way, I'm doing this openly, and just kind of indicate Nibbles. All right, Nibbles, just wait here. And I get out and close the door behind me to start following the adjudicator.
Yeah, and Relin, kind of tilts his head when you do that. Is that some sort of means of controlling the creature?
Attracting, and more I think it likes the scent of it. It comes from a more venerable, not subject, but example of the species.
Most peculiar. Anyway.
Yeah.
And he shouts a command of, basically just says hold, and the March soldiers all move to the side of the road, and basically they're not encircling you, but they're front and behind of the party's composition.
it's a reasonable way for them to travel with unknowns, and we are unknowns. So yeah, that's fine. It's not like he's turned around, leveled his lance, and has men surround us at point.
What
Yeah,
do they know about the known unknowns and the known knowns?
And the
The
unknown
unknown
gnomes.
unknowns.
Yeah.
And the semi-known gnomes.
what about the unknowns?
I mean,
don't talk about
Torn's
those.
been with you. He just hasn't said anything. He's just kind of been reading and writing and and then, going back to reading and writing.
Yeah.
But anyway, the adjudicator starts moving into town. He is his horse is at a very slow pace that you can walk alongside him with ease, and it appears 4 soldiers are joining him.
Okay. Yeah, I walk with him. Since he does appear interested in Nibbles, I do kind of give him a rundown of yeah, he appeared one day. We, offered some food, and he seems to be reasonably intelligent, much like a dog, hence the hound comparison. Attracted to things like magic. Obviously, someone like me that limited. I just kind of get on our way to the town. I just kind of give him like a basic rundown of everything. Think like an intellectual just being asked about his like area of expertise, and he's just like Alar's perfectly happy to expound upon it to someone who appears interested. As a side note, this is out of character. Alar isn't an idiot. He's doing this intentionally to curry favor with the adjudicator and also to show that he is in fact a reasonable person who does not, who is not
Act
some crazy...
irrationally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is not prone to do stupid things or act irrationally.
Indeed.
The idea is he's building this up
adjudicator
so that when we
makes-
talk to the mayor, there is a very clear contrast between the mayor and Alar.
And and he'll comment on the mayor. He does not seem pleased with this particular individual, but it is under his jurisdiction to manage this particular charter.
Mhm.
He indicates the same thought process as you guys about this mayor.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say it directly.
Right.
This guy's
Boys
a
in their
fucking
waters
prick, and I
go
hate dealing
high.
with him. Like you don't even have to butter him up. He's already on your side essentially. This is not the first time he's come here, it seems.
Sure, but again, Alar's an outsider, doesn't know that, so he's going to talk to the adjudicator and doing everything he can to come across as the reasonable, rational party here who just wants to be on his way with his party member. And that, yeah, we did something wrong, we're willing to pay the fine or what have you. We're not looking to complicate things.
Yeah, and he would respond, and the simplest matter would be if it was a threat of life to a civil, it would be, I think it's 100 gold. I'd have to remember. I deal with bandits more than this fucking shit, but I think it's 100 gold and 3 days labor, or just 200 gold and immediate release with banishment.
And Alar would just
And then, yeah,
question,
you could-
or do we pay the fine to you or to the mayor?
It would go to me.
Excellent.
It would be taken back to the fort and moved along to the Republic.
Yeah.
The fine is for, the disrespect of the charter. It does not go to the charter, thank God. But anyway, yeah, you eventually reach the town square, familiar sundial in the center, inns and taverns, and all kinds of rubberneckers.
Mhm.
Would appear they have a rough idea of how far away the fort is.
Whoa, don't say that out loud.
Rubberneckers?
It's rubberneckas.
I'm from the Midwest. We don't care.
Yeah, we got Chicago over here.
But anyway, so the adjudicator would turn to you and say, "So wait here. I'll go talk to him." And 2 of the march stay with you. They're still on horseback,
Mhm.
and they're not like really close ranks on you. Like they're just sitting 5-10 feet to your sides, and everybody's giving them a wide berth. He and the other two ride along. They go to the north. It appears they know where they're going. Connie, you've had a long, boring day
Yeah.
of trying to annoy the guards, and they have all not paid you 1 cent of mind. Now you hear hoof. You hear horse outside your cell. It
I
sounds
grab
like it
onto
is
the
riding
bars and I
past
lift
the
myself.
north.
I
right.
lift myself up on the window.
Do you attempt doing it quietly, or do you just not care?
No, I don't give a shit.
All right. Yeah, you pull yourself up to the bars, and after a moment or two, you're able to get a clear view of the looks like three soldiers on horseback. Two are wielding halberds. The one in front does not appear to be openly armed. Does look like he has weapons on him, and they're riding to that structure to the north. Looks like the hedged building to the north of you might be the mayor's house. And after a few moments, you're able to see all this, and then the guards come in, pull you down, yell at you, and then they slap cuffs on you because they're annoyed. Resist.
Your last is a little garbled, Sagan. Like the last 3
I
words.
said that they pull him down. They pull him down, and then they slap manacles on you. And then I asked if you were resisting.
I get put in handcuffs.
Yes,
Oh,
because
while
once
they're
again,
doing
you
it,
were.
I just start moaning.
Well, if you don't resist, they just ignore you and put the cuffs on.
Yeah, I start shaking and making a scene. Like, oh.
Yeah. Then they take a second. There's rings in the bars, and they chain about a 4 foot, 5 foot chain to the bars to your manacles.
These guys are babies.
But then they leave the room.
I'm gonna poison your water supply, and I smile.
They continue ignoring you. Alar, some time passes, probably about 20, 30 minutes, and then the adjudicator comes out, or back with the other two. And then he gets off of his horse. The first time he's ever gotten off his horse, and he comes up to you, and stands, very close so that he can talk quietly. And he says, "Yeah, that's what I thought. Pump his ass, fluffing his power around. It sounds like it was a simple matter that could have easily been handled in different ways. However, he is insistent. Assuming you have no issue paying a 200 gold piece fine."
Not at all. I have no problem paying the fine. I caught him quietly. By the way, is it just a fine? Is assaulting a civil official just a fine as well?
Physical assault would come with time served no matter what.
Nuts. Okay. Well, I have no problem paying the fine.
Oh, he doesn't get thrown in jail for that?
For asking an adjudicator what is the penalty for breaking a certain law?
Asking the guy that obviously doesn't like this mayor, what would happen if I punched him? And the adjudicator is saying, "Yeah, that would come with time served. You don't want to do that."
Yeah. And I'm taking the hint for what it is. Me and the adjudicator are buds at this point.
Yeah, no, like the adjudicator is completely on your guys' side. He does not want to be here.
This is a waste of his time.
Exactly. He would much rather be like fighting bandits and dealing with actual problems instead of sucking up to this fucking mayor. But without order, there is no civil. But yeah, so then he goes over, gets back on his horse, rides back away, and after about 10 minutes, Connie, you hear the sound of heavy boots. And in comes a well-dressed, well-armored man. He looks familiar to the individual you've seen riding on the horse earlier. And he doesn't say anything. And the constables come and unlock your cell, unhandcuff you, and they give you all of
Aw.
your gear back. And after that, then he says, "Come with me." And he
Okay.
turns and walks outside.
I follow.
And then Alar, at the same time, you would see, somebody run to the stables to the south and fetch your guys' last horse. And then Connie and the adjudicator, you see Connie well spirited, all of her gear with her, and the horse is brought in. The adjudicator remounts his horse and joins you guys. All right, let's put this place behind us. I do wish you a better rest of day. Although I would not recommend staying as close this time. It
You
would
broke
appear the
up after
mayor
he
wants to
start.
incur additional funds for your. He basically says let's go, and then he was talking about how the mayor wanted to fine you guys some more for camping outside of town, and he turned that down.
Thanks, homie. You hear how crazy that
Basically told the mayor to
fucking
fuck
guy
off.
is.
Yeah, and I'd be like, agreed, adjudicator. We wish to put this town behind us, just as a matter of question, due to my not having knowledge of the legal code. Was it legal for the mayor to impound that horse?
That came all choppy to me. I got bits and pieces all compressed for some
Okay.
reason.
Can you understand me now?
Follow-up question.
I didn't. No. Hold on, Connie. I didn't hear. Under. Repeat.
Can you understand me now?
It would appear so.
Okay. When he does come back, I do ask the adjudicator if the mayor's impounding of Connie's horse and not allowing us to take it with us was legal.
It was he would clarify it was assumed that she would have been released or brought back to the fort with it. He assumed the mayor assumed the horse was her property, not your guys' property as a whole. That way she had a means of transportation. And like he's basically saying like it's not without right that he did that. He was
Okay.
doing it as a kindness to Connie, more or less, so that she could transport herself.
Right. Okay. That's perfectly fine. Alar has no problem accepting that. He just wanted to clarify.
Follow-up question, and totally unrelated and no issue, but where does the mayor's family live?
Well, based on your assumptions, the mayor's house appeared to be to the building to the north of where you were imprisoned.
Oh, gotcha.
That is
gotcha,
where
gotcha, gotcha.
the adjudicator went. Yeah,
Do we
so
have a map
map
of
here.
the city?
Yeah, it's up in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I can grab it again. Yeah, this. The zoom on this is incredibly slow. Like to zoom in, it takes like 5 million scroll wheels. So you were imprisoned in that building that looks like it's on a paved area to the south of that T intersection. The adjudicator, you've seen him ride the buildings to north in that hedged in area. So you could easily assume that is the mayor's house. But the adjudicator and the march soldiers, escort you guys back to your party, and then he says, "We can at least make it partway down the main road. The further away from this place I am, the happier I will be."
I don't blame you. If it's all right, I think we'll join you at least for part of the way there, till our paths naturally diverge.
You wouldn't have much choice in the matter. We will be escorting you to at least the edge of their jurisdiction. From there, what you do matters not to me. And yeah, you guys ride. You're able to
Okay.
get, back to the main road. It's only about a half mile, but you're able to get, a mile or two down the main road, and there's a relatively good clearings and camping area around the road itself. Like, it appears this is a reasonably well maintained road.
Mhm.
There's probably about 20-30 feet of space from the road edge to where the forest actually starts to encroach. And the soldiers all, break down their gear off their horses, start setting up camp. And the adjudicator, comes off his horse. He's got his helmet off, and he just comes up to you and he's like, "The only thing I ask is that you guys set up camp at least 100 feet away from us. Just as our precaution." Like,
I can assure
it's
you,
not
we
like
mean no harm
he's not
towards
saying
you.
it as an insult. Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
saying it as an insult or anything like that. He's just saying it's kind of like just how they operate,
Yeah, standard procedure. They keep a perimeter.
as long as you guys are a reasonable distance away. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They want their space. They have no issue with you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do, since we're still talking, we're setting up our camp the requisite distance away. I do ask him, and it seems that, this is obviously a huge waste of your time. You said you're normally dealing with bandits, and I simply say, well,
You have no idea.
we are a mercenary company. Should you need additional help for a given situation, you can, our rates are reasonable.
Say 200 gold.
Well, more along the lines of I'm
Oh,
again just
have that.
making nice with
He would
the local
indicate that
constabulary.
there are. Yep.
The people that do matter.
Sorry, I did not get any of that. You guys both broke up. I think Discord's having an issue because I just saw the voice connected thing go to red for a little bit there.
Okay, so it isn't just me. I seem to be the first affected. All right, let's switch channels
Oh.
and reset the.
It's super delayed.
Yeah, hang on. All right.
Let's reset the room real.
Perfect.
That made it worse.
I feel like my shit's normal now.
I mean, I just had a spike, but that could have been the room getting reset.
I think it's just the room getting reset, rebuilding a new channel.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, I talked to him, let him know that we are mercenaries. Our rates are reasonable, and should he find himself in need of more, hired swords for a given task, he should call upon us. We're happy to help.
Nope, it's Discord.
Yeah.
You just went robot. I think it's just Discord. Well, if Discord is dying, then he would indicate that they have some issues. I don't have the names in front of me. I'm looking for them in my notes right now. But there is a particular pair of bandits that do have a large bounty, 5,000 a head, dead or alive, somewhere to the northwest, that they've had some trouble pinning down. They appear to be hitting large convoys and taking all of their stuff. And word has been passed and, advising people to use the Copper Road and not the northern roads. People use the northern roads because they kind of zigzag around all of, basically think like scale skipping. Like all of the tariffs in town, they have to push and stuff, but not like so much way stations, more like, wait stations along the Copper Road. And so a lot of people have been traveling north, and these guys have been hitting those larger convoys.
Okay. Well,
But
is Ghent in that
yeah,
direction?
he
or not?
indicates that they've had trouble finding them.
Ah.
No, you guys are going southeast to Ghent. The bandits are indicated northwest.
Okay. I just tell him, well, we're currently heading towards Ghent. We have some business there to deal with. But on our way out, we can definitely swing through that area, and if we find them, we'll definitely go to the fort to let you guys know what we find. Indicating that even if we can't take out the bandits, we'll at least let them know if we find evidence of them.
Yep. I will warn you, they do appear to be well armed. They have some sort of magic that every time that they're encountered, there appears to be no fight. Several groups have gone after them. Few have returned.
Well, I appreciate the warning. We do have one contact in Ghent. We can talk to him. Maybe he knows something. And if not, well, you're not out anything.
Indeed. The only issue we ever have is bandits and mayors.
What's
Oh,
the
yeah.
bounty for a
You
mayor?
guys are able to make camp. He chuckles. Unfortunately, that would put a bounty on your head.
No, I think the better question is, how does one become a mayor? Is it a hereditary position? Is it
Find
elected?
a reasonable point for a charter town. It depends. It's usually like a charter town like Valmill that was an elected mayor. There are some that are still blood mayors, or hereditary.
Okay.
But more often than not, it is usually just an elector.
Okay. I wasn't sure how politically how the system was set up, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing is this is a deviation away from standard feudal setting because food is not the bottleneck, logistics is. Food is very easy to grow. So fish are fat, crops are abundant.
But logistics with
It might come
one
across as like,
road in and one road out.
well, more so moving things around in general is more of a bottleneck than harvesting
One
things,
road in,
if
one
that
road
makes
out,
sense.
I would imagine.
Yeah. No, it does make sense. Well, you have to realize is that prior to, well, that would be, late Renaissance, most major towns were major towns because they existed on rivers. And the rivers weren't just a source of fresh water, but also of boat traffic. Boats were the most efficient way to move goods around.
Yes.
So
This world runs primarily on roads and rivers.
Yeah.
Yes. However, at tech level, it seems more late medieval, early Renaissance.
Yeah, I got that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just fucking had it in front of me too. So yeah, it isn't really a problem. So the standard feudal land grab focus for how the economics and power works. It is primarily trade focused. moving things around, taxes, stuff like that is like the fact that Ghent has such like the Weathermar the Republic of Weathermar has such a large military is simply because it's their road police force. It is really not an active military for campaigning and territorial takeovers. It is literally just a large martial force. But it's a standing army. They are not levies. They are professionally trained. You clearly see that by their arms and armor and very organized manner.
But all mundane. They don't have
And
any
Alaric,
magical support.
being from Ghent, that you've seen, yes, these soldiers are mundane.
Okay. You were saying. Sorry.
Alaric would know a little bit more being from Ghent. Yeah. He would be able to tell you that there is two primary militaries for the Republic of Weathermark. There is the Genthian Guard, who wear blue and gold, and then there is the Weathermar March, who wear almost identical blue and gold armor, except for they have a white accent stripe separating the blue and gold parts. The Weathermar March is considered more professional, and the Genthian Guard is considered more green. Your soldiers start out as city guards and then eventually move up to join the march, or move up in the ranks of the guard, depending on what they want to do. You would know from knowledge that is more professionally trained than the actual city guard. But yeah, you guys are able to settle down in your camp. They keep elves. While conversing, the adjudicator does join them in their camp, and the night passes. Morning comes. You guys do anything outside of breaking down camp and continuing on the road?
No, we'll be good.
There's really nothing to do at this point.
Except go to the lake and poison the water
Yep.
supply.
They're poisoning the water in the hole.
You say that out loud? No, I'm kidding. You wouldn't have been close enough for him to hear anyway. But yeah, and after about not a full day, because you guys had rode back down a little bit, but close to the evening, do cross the fort. It is a large 3-tiered structure with a heavy wall around the outside. It looks like it takes up about 2 acres of land. And there's a heavy wooden gate, and it opens at your guys' approach, and the March and the adjudicator ride in. They they broke off around you and moved up ahead of you once they got closer to the fort.
Mm-hmm.
Like indicating they're not escorting you anymore. You're outside of you're not their problem anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And they ride into the fort, and the gate starts closing behind them, and you guys are back on your own.
Yeah. Well, we just keep on the road on the obvious path to Ghent until we're out of sight. And then I inform Connie of our plan for revenge on the mayor.
Like revenge.
All right. Well, you are about a day in. I mean, it's early enough evening. You're able to ride like a mile or two past the fort before it's about bedtime.
Mm-hmm. How dense is the forest? The woods that you described? It's not all open terrain, is it?
Not. This area is more field than forest. There is dense trees like in clusters, but they're only like 2 or 3 acres. and it's mostly open field, like I think grassland.
So the point is, the idea is we turn off the road and we head roughland, avoiding the fort. We don't want to go within visual sight of the fort.
hmm
And head back towards this town.
Yeah, you're easily able to
We
do
want
that.
to avoid, and I would use hero to scout if necessary, but I'd like to avoid all contact with people.
Yeah, and once you fly hero up and you have him guiding you guys, essentially you realize this is pretty much open terrain. There's like, you don't have to be stealthy, there is nobody here, but you're easily
Right.
it take if you want to go out and around to avoid the fort, you think it'll probably take you like 2-ish days of riding like this to get back in range of Velmil.
So we kind of double back, head our way to Velmill, and assuming we have no problems with it, a lot of this land would be farmed potentially. So that's why I was keeping hero out. So I want to make sure we don't run through a farmer's field by accident or run into
Not a lot of
farmer.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't appear like this area is heavy agriculture. You do see the occasional like hunting cabin and stuff like that, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I'm saying like we
And
avoid
most
stuff
of
like that.
most of the yeah, but even avoiding them, most of the ones you see, it does not appear with with the temperatures you would notice, you'd probably want a fire going because it's getting a little bit nippy. You don't see any smoke from any of
Okay.
their chimney.
Yeah, we just make our way back towards Velmill, not getting within line of sight of any bit of it,
hmm
but close enough that we could then move around through the woods to stealthily plant our presence near each lake.
All right.
Like-
Yeah, and you're easily able to do that. The tree lines provide you reasonable cover. You don't really see or run into anybody. Especially with using hero as a scout, you're easily able to avoid anything which you could even consider as contact.
Mhm.
And what's your plan?
So
I only caught part of it because I was switching over to my phone. I know you're talking about those hardwood cores.
Yeah, we know that the heartwood cores appear to start forming these trolls if they're planted in organic matter, like trees or like dead corpses and stuff.
hmm
So the idea was we would go around to these lakes, the source of the town's income to pay the taxes, and plant one at each lake so that come the spring, they're dealing with a little bit of a troll infestation, which is going to really harm that mayor's ability to pay those taxes, and it's going to make
I
him look
gotcha.
really bad. Because his forces very
Yeah.
clearly we're not going to be able to handle one of these things. These things are going to tear through those constables, if he sends them out. The idea is to force him.
Yep.
He wants to flex
And-
his power. That's nice. We can engage in other forms than direct force of combat towards him. In this case, we're engaging in economic warfare.
All right. Well, you do not have any issue getting near the lakes and planting these. Do you do anything special when you plant them, or do you just shove them in the ground?
Well, from what I remember, when we were extracting them, it was pretty clear that they were active, like almost as soon as they were when they were in that corpse. Do they appear to be inert, or do they like immediately start like growths and stuff?
They appear inert.
Okay. So from those druids, I did get like this codex that has like rituals and stuff in it. Does any of that talk about how to turn these on?
Yes, the ritual of the wild boar. You think that was the indication of how these are activated.
Okay. And what does that require?
Remember, it's all in idioms. Like, even your best effort, you have no idea what the fuck the instructions say.
Ah.
Did that come through?
It did. Well, if I recall, you did give us like some of the idioms. It does require some blood, if I recall, and some other stuff. I didn't write down specifics, but if I recall, it was a bunch of idioms. Yes, but it also made
Here, we'll find that.
you know. Essentially, my character is fairly smart. Could he figure out, using his arcana, what this is trying to achieve magically to activate this?
Yes.
S.
Let's see. How about we put a pin in that and wrap the session up? I don't actually have that all, like the
Okay.
requirements for the ritual written out. I didn't know you guys would be playing with these this quickly. I figured like once you got to Ghent, I'd have a little more time to actually write all the bullshit down.
Well, I didn't expect the mayor.
It
to be
was
such an
it was
ass.
intended as a soft lock. I do like making assholes back for assholes. But anyway, yes, I do have like the actual like checks. It would require Arcana and Intelligence, which you have both of, no problem. But I don't have the actual steps done, so I can do that, but not at this particular moment. So I think we will call the session here, and next week we can talk about the sabotage of Velmil.
Okay. Works for me.
Nice.